Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Alchemy of Trituration. And this is part 1 after the introduction that we did last week. This is the part where we start to understand how the trituration movement came about, who founded it, and how it happened. So the trituration movement was founded by Witold Erdler, as I mentioned before. So who was Witold Erdler? So he was not a homeopath. And that's quite important because he was coming from the outside and he happened to stumble into this modality. So he was a student of biology. And just for historical context, he was born in 1964. The trituration movement is in the early 1990s. So it's relatively recent. So Witold was a biology student, but he was also a very deep thinker and a very curious intellect, to the point where he decided at some point in his career that biology was not enough for him. It did not give him the answers that he was looking for. And what he was looking for really was quite ambitious. He was looking for answers in terms of life. Where do we come from? What is our purpose here? So it was more a philosopher, if you like. But anyway, so I'm getting ahead of myself. So he was a biology student at this point. His girlfriend at the time was a student of pharmacology in Germany. And part of the curriculum for pharmacology was homeopathy. So Witold stumbled, he happened to notice some of the books about homeopathy that his girlfriend was studying. And in one of these books, there was the description of how the remedies are prepared. So he was intrigued. He was looking at the materia medica. So this idea as a biologist that you can take a raw material, prepare it in a certain way, and it gives all these characteristics, it kind of opens up a new dimension from that simple raw material, and you get all these mental symptoms and emotional symptoms, as well as a wide range of physical symptoms. So he decided to follow the trituration method and just try for himself and see what would happen. The book that he was following at the time triturated to the C4, to the 4th level. And it's interesting because in the Organon, Hahnemann gives instructions to triturate to the 3rd level, to the C3. So he went deeper already from the get-go. So he decided to try calcarea carbonica. And we all have a first remedy that opens up the world of homeopathy. For Hahnemann, it was China. It was the cinchona bark, the quinine, that opened up a world, and that was the first remedy that he proved. And for our Witold, it was calcarea carbonica. So he started triturating, and he noticed, and he took notes of lots of physical symptoms, but what really spooked him actually was this sensation, this feeling that he was going crazy at one point. And we know that calcarea carbonica, bull type, one of the delusions is that you're going crazy, or that people are going to think that you're going crazy. So he realized that triturating, the process, the physical, mechanical process, was not a merely physical and mechanical, it was a transformational process whereby he did not just work on the material, he became that material. So he literally became calcarea carbonica. And that's really the magic, if you like, but really it is the alchemical process of homeopathy. And by the way, Helios, the people who work at Helios Pharmacy, they know this full well. This is what they experience, the pharmacists over there experience and have experienced since the beginning, since they started to work there, to the point where at Helios they actually keep the notes from the pharmacists of what they feel and their experience, how they experience individually the remedies. So this is what really I hope to achieve when we get together in Taos. If you can join us, this is really the goal, to experience the material, the matter. In our case, it will be turquoise, but to become the remedy and note down, write down, and then share what the that experience will be. So this inquisitive mind from Witold actually reminds me also of Edward Bach, Dr. Edward Bach, who was a bacteriologist, and he realized that biology, medicine, the way that it was studied and performed at the time was not enough for him, and that's when he branched into the flower remedies, and he realized that flowers have other properties that cannot be described or captured or reached with traditional methodologies. And he started to literally test the flowers. He was able to just take a petal of one of the flowers and put it on his tongue, and he would get what we would call now a download of information from this flower. So it was not dissimilar to that. And the other thing is that we need to remember as well that Hahnemann was a medical doctor, yes, but he was also an alchemist. And this is where homeopathy comes from. At the time when Hahnemann was alive, there was no word for chemist, the way that we understand it now. Chemistry as a science, as a branch, was developed more deeply later. And the word for chemist at the time was really alchemist, and alchemy and medicine really went together in the time of Hahnemann. So Hahnemann understood as well, really, really well, this process of transformation. Okay, and so this is really the goal, to become the remedy, not just to observe from the outside in, but to really merge, fuse with the remedy. So this is how it really started. Later on, Witold repeated the process with different remedies because he was interested in standardize this process, and he realized that this kind of sensation, this kind of result of this merging between yourself and the remedy happened every single time with different remedies. He also started to experiment, and again, it's like Hahnemann did. He would try different dilutions at the beginning, different ways of triturations to see which effects he would get, with what kind of results he would get. And this is what Witold did as well. And he realized that there were different results depending on the level of trituration. And this is where he introduced the C1, the C2, the C3. And in the next video, we're going to analyze this and understand what Witold meant by C1, C2, etc., and what each level represents and what each level achieves. And also I'll explain why I want to get to the C5 rather than C4. So it's not a random choice. Okay. So this is everything for this video. I hope it's interesting. I am trying to give you this information in kind of bite sizes or homeopathic doses, if you like, just so that it's the information is more easily absorbable and you don't find it confusing, especially if it's the first time you are hearing this kind of information. So thank you very much for listening, and I will see you next time.